Hi, I'm here to pick up my son Milo.
There's no Milo here.
Who picked up my son from school?
Streaming only on Peacock.
I'm gonna need the name of everyone that could have a connection.
You don't understand. It was just the 5 of us.
So this was all planned.
What are you gonna do?
I will do whatever it takes to get my son back.
I honestly didn't see this coming. These nice people killing each other.
All Her Fault. A new series streaming now only on Peacock.
This episode is brought to you by Greenlight. Get this. Adults with financial literacy skills have 82% more wealth than those who don't. From swimming lessons to piano classes, us parents invest in so many things to enrich our kids' lives. But are we investing in their future financial success? With Greenlight, you can teach your kids financial literacy skills like earning, saving, and investing. And this investment costs less than that after-school treat. Start prioritizing their financial education and future today with a risk-free trial at greenlight.com/Spotify. Greenlight.com/Spotify.
Hi everyone, it's your favorite algorithm, Glory. Non-binary listeners, ladies and gentlemen, heroes and heroines, crooks and crookins, Blind Melon, the audio performance you are about to enjoy, discusses casinos and gambling. We do not recommend gambling with money you cannot afford to lose, or that is needed to pay bills. If you have a gambling problem, contact your problem gambling hotline. If you do not know how to contact your problem gambling hotline, send an email to help@casinocombat.com. We will find that number for you and provide it to you. Our hosts' past performances are not indicative of anyone's future results, including his own. All materials presented here are based on actual facts. Names and dates are changed to protect the innocent and the guilty. Some events unrelated to outcomes may be omitted in the interest of brevity and clarity. The contents of this episode are the property of Volcanic Dingo, LLC. All rights reserved.
It's me, it's TRG, the Rambling Gambler, just trying to make a living and doing the best I can.
Lyrics, dude. Recite him some lyrics.
All I can say is that my life is pretty plain. I like watching the puddles gather rain. All I can do is just pour some tea for two and speak my point of view, but it's not sane. It isn't sane. I get it. I understand it. The very idea that I come on here and tell you that you can win the game of casino gambling if you play smart, if you pay attention to your comps, if you pay attention to the things that are going on in the bigger game of casino gambling, and if you get good at a game with a very low house advantage. It's not sane from a lot of people's point of view, and that's okay. That's all right. There are enough of us out there that know how this works and how to do it, that it's okay if other people think we're just a little bit crazy. And I did not pour some tea for two. No, I think some bourbon was involved on both sides of the conversation, but I am so thrilled today to tell you the battle plan for this episode, because the battle plan is very, very simple. This is Yin and Yang Part 2. This is my good friend Don Wood and I in a Zoom call exchanging questions about the game of craps and the game of blackjack, hopefully so that each of us is a little more informed, each of us is a little better at what we do, and in the process all of you are better than what you do, or better at what you do. So that is the battle plan. This episode is Yin and Yang Part 2. In just a second, we're going to jump to that recording, and then we will finish up in the virtual VIP lounge with a virtual VIP lounge exclusive, to the best of my knowledge, never ever been done on any podcast. We have the $6 Blackjack Story in the virtual VIP lounge. So there we go. Yin and Yang Part 2, virtual VIP lounge, and let's get started. All right, everybody, welcome to part 2 of Yin and Yang. The premise of these episodes is that I have with me Don Wood, who is a craps expert, in my opinion, And at least some people think that I'm a blackjack expert. And because we are not experts in each other's game and both trying to learn the opposite game, we created this format, Yin and Yang, where we do 2 questions, two from each of us to the other, and we all get the answers. And so, Don, thank you for coming. And I'll give you the first question once again.
Sounds good. Great to be here again. This is fun. So, I know there are a lot of strategies. Do you have one strategy, or do you have multiple strategies that you use? And how, if you have multiples, when would you change strategies? Would it be within a game or a session or whatever? So.
Right. So I guess let's break that down into 2 parts. I always do my best to play the correct basic strategy for the rules as they exist on the table. Not a lot of variation, but I try to always play each hand the best possible way within the rules the house has given me. So that's hand play strategy. Wagering strategy, I have 3 and then an add-on and then a variation. So when I first started playing, the experts in the moment said, bet 1 unit, and if you win, bet 2 units. And I tried that on a couple of trips to Las Vegas, and the one stood out at the Mirage. I bet 1 and won, bet 2 and lost. Over and over and over on the last day of a trip. And I got in the plane and I said, either I'm figuring out something better or I'm never doing this again. And so I came up with a limited martingale strategy. And this was when you could only gamble in Las Vegas or Atlantic City. And I wasn't worried about tier because I was getting there once every couple years for a few days. I wasn't going to get comped anything playing $2 blackjack. So I created what we now call TRG1, ironically, the one, the only, that is basically a martingale when losing, 1 unit if you lose, 2 units, and if you lose, 4.5 units, and you leave right there. On the other side, if you win 2 hands, then the third hand, and 2 hands in a row, the third hand, you go up by 1/2 unit. And you keep going up by 1/2 unit until you get a total of 2.5 units wagered. And then you flat bet the 2.5 units until you lose. And then you go back to 1 unit and start over. It works great. The most money I've ever won in a single session was won using that technique. I turned $1,300 into $35,000 in the course of a few hours, playing exactly that way. That TRG1 wagering system plays great if you don't care about tier and you can just hop from property to property to property to property. The Atlantic City Boardwalk, the Las Vegas Strip, downtown Las Vegas. Lots of choices, lots of other things you might want to do. It works really, really well. Where it doesn't work well is a casino in the middle of Appalachia where there's only 2 tables open on a Tuesday night. And there's enough players to only have 1 or 2 open seats. So you're not going to just get up and hop tables and go do some other fun thing and then play again for a little while. And so the lose 3 and walk away, there's nowhere to walk except back to your room. So realizing that I didn't play the Vegas Strip very much and I did care about tier, I took something called Oscar's Grind, which is a well-known wagering system that tries to keep you on table for longer periods of time. And I tweaked it some. I added a up after winning component and tweaked the what you do when you're losing component. And that was the pinnacle of success for a very long time. We call that TRG2 Always Be Grindin', because it's based on Oscar's Grind. And if you want to learn it, if you go to the website, casinocombat.com, go to the Fred section, because Fred used to be a little automated bot that would kick out emails if people emailed and asked for certain things. But now he's in the website, so you can download a PDF from Fred on how to play TRG2 Always Be Grinded. Inner Circle member, East Coast Emissary, PhD, took the original recordings in episode 62, 63, and transcribed them and made this flowchart that people have now used to learn this. And I played that for about 2 years, maybe more like 3. Well before the podcast, I played Always Be Grindin' all the time. I made lots of money playing Always Be Grindin'. And as I was doing the podcast, I remember we were down in Atlantic City for about a week, and my brain kept saying, there is a mistake, fix it. There is a mistake, fix it. Look, there's a mistake. You need to fix this. It's wrong. And the place there was the mistake was when Blackjack does the thing Blackjack does most. Lose one, win one. And you could say win one, lose one, but eventually it all becomes the same thing, either way you say it. Blackjack often will have streaks where you lose a hand, you win a hand, you lose a hand, you win a hand. Well, if you're doing TRG2, Always Be Grindin', you lose and you bet one and you win and you're right back where you started. You've accomplished nothing. So the tweak in TRG4, win more, keep more, is that the first bet is 1 unit. If you win, great. We start keeping track and we'll start betting up if we win a couple in a row. But if you lose, you bet 2. Typical martingale. And now if you win, you have a 1 unit process and we're starting the whole flow chart over again. If you lose, now you're starting to just bet one, Oscar's Grind style, until a win triggers larger wagers. So there's 3 wagering systems. Now, numbered 1, 2, and 4, because I numbered them the way I invented them. And the third one...
Did you uninvent TRG3?
No, TRG3 was invented after TRG2, and it is called the meta martingale.
Ah, okay.
Traditional martingale. We respond to a one-hand loss by betting twice as much. And if we have no table max, and if we have infinite courage and infinite money, eventually we must win one. And everybody's tried it at some time, and everybody's run up to the table max if they have those funds, or run out of courage, even if they thought they wouldn't, or they've otherwise found the ways that it falls apart and doesn't work. But the meta martingale does not martingale the wager. It martingales the unit size and buy-in after a losing table. So you sit down and you're playing a $25 unit size, and you've read the flow chart, and you know how to do TRG2 or TRG4, and you eventually reach a point where you've lost 7 or 8 units, and that is our negative exit point, and you walk away from the table.
Okay.
Now, when you go back, the buy-in is not 250, the buy-in is 500, and the unit size is $50, not $25. We have martingaled the metagame. We're never going to run into the table max as a limit anywhere. And we're never going to have at risk on any bet more than 3 units. So we're never going to get to some crazy 6-unit, 10-unit, 20-unit wager trying to catch up to 1 unit. And then as I play it, if you were to lose 8 units at $50 unit size, then I go to $100 unit size, $1,000 buy-in. And the nice part is, if in any of these scenarios you get a 8 to 12 unit win, you will have roughly $300 profit for the day. If you do it at the $50 unit size, you will won back your first buy-in and have roughly $200 to $300 of profit. If you do it at the $100 level with the $1,000 buy-in, you will once again. I once went 59 days, including multiple days in Atlantic City, and I never took a loss playing that way. Didn't have a losing day. And Atlantic City didn't have a losing session. Now, sometimes the $25 session was played before brunch, and then the second section after a loss was done after time at the pool, and the third was done before dinner. And sometimes you just win what you're looking to win at the first level. You never go to the second and third. And sometimes you get there on the second. But I went 58 days, including days where I basically played all day without taking an L, playing in that fashion. As a group, the folks in Slack, we invented something called Rapier. And Rapier is a technique for building your buy-in and your unit size that moves at the table through tiers up and down. It's a more complex but more compact meta martingale. So, to the question you ask, basic strategy to play the hand, always, and one of those wagering systems. I tend to, right now, play TRG4. So I think it's the best. There are people that disagree. They think TRG2 is better. Everybody has reasons. I think it's kind of cool that we actually have divisions within the community as to which people prefer. But I'm currently doing a TRG4 and a 45 Rapier. And there are probably about 20 people on the planet that know how to play Rapier and structure. It's mostly a buy-in structure. It's a betting approach. It's moving between unit sizes very rapidly at the same table. And if you want to learn it in full, about 4 or 5 days ago, I emailed you the video links to the Zoom call we did to teach it, and then 3 practice sessions that I did, and a head-to-head comparison between me playing TRG4 without Rapier and me playing TRG4 with Rapier on exactly the same hands. So if you'd like to learn the Rapier technique and be the 21st person on the planet that knows how to wager that way, you should have all the instructional materials in your inbox. East Coast Emissary says that Rapier is the most kick-ass system ever invented for finding, locating, and acquiring a profit at a blackjack table. And he has tested it extensively. Another one of PCH's clients that was on Dice Cruise 2, Midnight Diver, he plays nothing but Rapier. He played Rapier at Sunset Station all weekend and never had a losing table in an entire weekend of play. So it's been tested. I can't say thoroughly vetted, because 20 people playing something as they have time over the course of a year doesn't prove anything. There is a Baccarat player down down near Louisville, Kentucky, who is a card counter who got banned. He can only play in Florida now because Hard Rock doesn't have him booked, but Caesars and Boyd and all of that have him booked. He plays TRG4 with Rapier on the Baccarat table where he is allowed to play, and makes very good money playing TRG4 with Rapier on a Baccarat table. So the wagering, we've also tested, just to kind of also somewhat bring this back in, like we've tested TRG4 on Don't Pass. It works just fine. It's a little slow. It's a little boring,
Right.
but it works just fine. It generates profit. It just generates profit very slowly because you're waiting for the Don't Pass bet to resolve and you're not betting anything else.
And you're certainly not getting comps. Yeah.
Right. Well, it depends on how big you do it, I guess.
Right. Well,
Drop a $500 tip on there.
But the line bets don't really get you anything. So.
Well, and there are also then people that do it. They'll do TRG4 on the Don't Pass line and then place numbers. And they have one buy-in that's for Don't Pass and one buy-in that's for the number. And they just use it as a system within a system.
Just throw 6-8 up there or something.
Yeah.
On
Or
the
whatever,
other side.
whatever other pieces of the puzzle they have going on that they think they want to do. But so they'll use it as one aspect. Works on black, red, even odd on roulette. You're giving up a bunch of house advantage, but it does work. So we've put a lot of time, effort, and thought into what those parameters are. Core concepts of casino combat. Our wagering approach needs to have a regressive component, which is to say an aspect or a trigger where bets get larger because of a loss or a series of losses. Likewise, I believe that every wagering process, every wagering system has to have what I call a progressive side, which is to say a response to a win or a series of wins with an increased wager. So we start at a 1 unit bet, and if we lose some amount of 1 unit bets, the bets need to get bigger. And if we win some amount of 1 unit bets, the bets need to get bigger. Those are two of my core concepts, two of my fundamental beliefs. And now we're just talking about what is the trigger. Is it losing 1 hand? Is it losing 2 hands? Is it losing 5 hands? And how much are you going to go up? Likewise, what's the trigger for pressing because we've been winning? Is it winning 1 bet, 2 bets, 3 bets, 5 bets? And what's the increase and by how much? Unlike craps, unlike Baccarat, I feel in blackjack, you have to limit your press when you're winning, because you always have that possibility that you're making the bet 7 more times. It's great to win 7 hands in a row and add a quarter every time when you started at a quarter. But now you've got $200 out there and you've got a pair of 8s. Did you have another 800? Were you planning to put it on the table? Because you were just, that player is thinking, well, it's all money I won. Yeah. I'm going to keep pressing, right? Okay, well, now you turned to your buddy, you went in your pocket, you went to the ATM, you put together the $200 or whatever it is, the $800, you've pushed it all up, and now the first hand you get a 2. And the dealer has a 7, and you're supposed to double. So when I press, I like to press a half unit at a time up to a total of 2.5 units. And then I just flat bet it out after that, because I don't want to be doing great and then wipe out great with one hand that mutates and multiplies and becomes a 7-headed hydra. And now I've got more than the session bankroll out there on the table. So I cut those off. You know, It's not like a 4 and a 10 where you can just keep pressing, because the worst thing that happens is you lose that bet. The worst thing that happens is you lose that bet times 7.
Ouch. Okay. That's kind of an important point there. Interesting hands. All right. So at the risk of losing a question for later, for one of the later sessions, when you say basic strategy, I've seen several different basic strategy cards. Now, I'm going on a side-by-side in a week and a half or something like that on the 18th. And I need to know what the basic strategy that I want to use is. So there's a couple of variants to that thing. Do you have that on the site?
I don't, because it's so readily available so much better other places. Wizardofodds.com has drop-down menus where you can pick number of decks, allowed to resplit aces, allowed to surrender, all the most common rules. And when you dial it in, it spits out a correct basic strategy. That's why you're seeing variations. The proper basic strategy for a single deck game is not the same as the basic strategy for a double deck game.
All right.
Basic strategy, if the dealer stands on soft 17, is different than if the dealer hits soft 17. Surrender creates a different basic strategy than no surrender. However, if you were to put all those strategies side by side and circle the boxes where they differ, you're going to find about 8 to 10 hands total that differ. And they differ around the margins. There are 2 plays that change. There's one double you only make if the house hits soft 17. Otherwise, you never. So there's just a few little variations. So my suggestion to people who are beginning is get a basic strategy chart for a 4 to 8 deck shoe game where the dealer hits on soft 17 and surrender isn't allowed and action after aces isn't allowed. And you are now prepared to correctly play probably 75% of every table you're going to find in North America.
Okay.
And you're little.
You've played on Royal, so is that the one?
That's actually the right chart for Royal.
Okay.
But I'm just saying, if you happen to wander into a high limit room and they stand on all 17s, you're giving up 1/100th of a percentage of house advantage. It's not a big enough. You're not going to play that hand enough times to be super worried about it. And if you get that chart memorized, then it's easy enough to go, oh, I'm going to be playing in Atlantic City, not on the cruise ship. I need to remember that I can surrender here. That changes these 4 hands.
Okay.
But it's easy to do that if you have the basis of that most common chart down.
All right.
Almost always 4 to 8. If you find continuous shuffle, well, it's 6 decks. They're shuffled all the time. There's nothing that's changing because of the number of cards. And if you end up on a double deck game, all that's going to happen is you're going to keep trying to double or split things, and they're going to say, sir, you can't do that. It's a double deck game. So that's my advice. 4 to 6 deck, dealer hits soft 17, no action after aces, and most of North America, you will find that game very commonly, and you'll have memorized the right chart.
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay. So my craps question is simple, and maybe it'll be helpful if I also give you the why. How do I learn craps vocabulary? Because I constantly struggle to anticipate how to give the instruction I want to give to change my bets.
Okay.
Chronic spontaneous urticaria, or chronic hives with no known cause. It's so unpredictable. It's like playing pinball. Itchy red bumps start on my arm, then my back, sometimes my legs. Hives come out of nowhere, and it comes and goes. But I just found out about a treatment option at treatmyhives.com. Take that, chronic hives. Learn more at treatmyhives.com.
Okay. And that's it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, other than just hanging around a craps pit, how do I, is there a resource?
So,
book?
Yeah, well, I think it's more just the experience at the table. There's some pretty basic instructions that you would want to do. And first of all, let's go through the order of the table. So if on place bets, they're going to, say I'm on stick left 1, they're going to come to me first on the place bets. And as soon as I hit a place bet, I have to give my instructions. And if I'm in stick left 3, have my instruction ready, listen, see them pay 1, listen, see them pay 2, and immediately give your instruction because they're starting to listen for you. Don't say it when they're going to pay person 1. On the win, on a pass line, they're coming from the opposite side. They're starting at base and coming around, but you're not really giving instructions at that point. So it's not a big deal, but you do want to know that. The second thing would be the unit of the table, but if you're playing quarters and everything you're playing is quarters, then the dealer should understand that a unit is a quarter, not a nickel. And that's $25 and $5. And so the easiest way is to say up a unit, and they should go up 1 unit. If you're a 12-6, a unit would bring you to 18. If you have $30 8 and you're playing 30s, you want to say up a unit. A unit might be $6 on that 6. On the 6. So it's kind of learning what the dealers are hearing. A unit's generally going to be the $5/$6 thing. Now we talked, I think, last time about one of my strange things, and that is I take a quarter 5. And most people go to 35 because it pays 35. They go to 35 and they say, just, go to 35, which would be the instruction, make it 35, 10 pressure, something like that. Mine is I throw them a nickel and say, make it look like 40. They immediately know to take the 2 nickels, take my nickel, give me a quarter back. The next weird one, because that now pays, instead of 49 off the 35, that now pays 56. And so I struggled a little bit to give that instruction because my next bet is 65. Another really strange one that pisses Michael off beyond anything I do at the craps table. He hates that. But it's what I've done is I've removed one of my presses. So 35 would go to 50, 50 to 75, 75. So now what I do is I go quarter to 40, 40 to 65, 65 to 90 to 125. And it works. So the two odd ones are throw them a nickel, say make it look like 40. And that's a good thing to do, is give them instruction and then tell them what it looks like at the end. And one of those things should click in their head. So they pay out 56 and I say, make it look like 65. And they take all the nickels and give them to me and make it look like 75. I'm like, no, make it like 65. So now what I say is quarter pressure. stick a quarter under it. And they learn that bet from me fairly quickly because I'll tip them to, put a penny on top. Pays 56, stick a quarter underneath, keep the penny for you on top. And I get a quarter. The next one pays 91. And I literally say 91, make it look like 90. And they know I'm telling them the payout's 91, make it look like 90. They cut the 91, they take the penny, put it on my bet, give me, and then move the 90 into the bet position. Next one pays 126, make it look like 125. So those are the terms you can use is up a unit, make it look like, or do this very specific thing. We have a couple of folks who like to play a 640 across and others who play variants like it. And they go and reduce after 2 hits. They go ahead and pull that all back and make it look like 160 across. And we really struggled. We went on a cruise in Alaska and the dealers were really struggling with it. And so one of the guys literally would have the 160 in his hand, or 162 because you're buying the 410 with the vig up front. He'd have his 162 ready. He said, take all my bets down. Here's my 162 across. And they would just go boom, 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 give it to him, and he can sort it out. And that makes it easier for the dealers. So you just kind of think what they're doing, look at the experience of the dealers. And again, they're always rotating. So now you have to learn 4 different dealers' reactions to your words. But that's the good thing about going back to places where we know the dealers.
So since we're doing vocabulary.
Anything else I missed?
Well, no, since we're doing vocabulary, half the people who listen to this are saying the same thing. What does a cross mean?
Okay. Let's go there. All right, so we've got some different terms. The across means we're talking about, well, any table. It could be craps or crapless, and crapless simply doesn't have craps. The craps numbers 2, 3, and then the yo 11 and the craps number 12 would be numbers. But generally across means across the entire layout. So in a standard craps table, that would mean 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10. A 162 across, 160 is a quarter unit across. You go quarter, quarter, 30 on the 6, 8, quarter, quarter, and the $2 is your vig on the 4 and 10. Most houses want their vig up front. Many don't. Kansas City does. Indiana did not. Vegas does not, but AC does want the vig or the tax up front. When you say inside, you would be talking about the 5, 6, 8, and 9. Outside would be 4, 5, 9, and 10. So,
got it. Excellent. Yeah, I could hear the people out there going, wait, I don't know what a cross means.
Side, that means, quarter on the 5, $30, 6, 8, and a quarter on the 9. So, yep. All right, some people, when they're splitting, some people do what they call corporations, or they're sharing numbers, sharing a bankroll, paying together. Some person's playing the right side of the table, uptown. Others are playing the low side of the table, downtown. And so, they'll be saying, what would that be? $80, downtown or uptown.
Okay.
To give you just the half of the table. That's another one. Yeah.
That's a useful one because Laura and I prefer to play together when we're somewhere. And we are trying not to both put money at risk on the same wager. So a lot of times she takes the bottom 3 numbers and I take the top 3 numbers as our agreed to part of our game. And then we adjust accordingly. So uptown and downtown.
I would do that with my casino son. I would play When I'm shooting, it's all me. When he's shooting, it's all him. But then on everybody else at the table, I'll put the nickel up, on the low side for the ATS, and we would split, I'd put the 15 up one time, he'd put it up the other time, and then we would split the numbers. One more term, if you do get stuck playing on a crapless table, which means the low side is now 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and the high side is 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, because everything can be a point except the red, which is 7. So there's another term, red equals 7. You could call it the bitch. It would also be the 7. But if you're playing on a crapless table and you only want to play craps, now you're going to get screwed when the point becomes one of those extreme numbers. There's another term. Extremes would be the 2, 3, 11, 12 would be the extremes on a crapless table. I would go and I would say 162 old school. And now they just play the old school numbers as if the others didn't exist. Or I would just say, 104 extremes, to put quarters on the extremes.
All right, so critique this decision I made.
Okay.
Locally, we have fire, we don't have ATS. And I have FOMO around not making a fire wager, even though it's a stupid wager. I don't want to not get paid if it happens. And it is a urban area. And so they were having people come in. It's a $15 table, but $1 on the side bets and the inside numbers. And they'd have people that would come in and make a $5 fire bet and then make 10 $1 inside whatever bets. And if something on the inside got picked off, they'd throw out another $1, and they were really just killing immense amounts of time hoping to get paid on fire. So the rule became you have to have a table minimum pass or don't pass bet to make the fire bet. And I am willing to play a crapless table, but I didn't like having to make a pass line bet that could end up on the extremes just to make the fire bet. So my solution was to make the fire bet, the $15 pass line bet, and a $5 C&E. So that if it ended up on the extremes, I at least recouped the wager on the pass line, and then if I catch the pass line, fine, but if not, it's kind of a wash. Was I clever or stupid?
It's a loss. Yeah. I personally wouldn't. Do they allow you to put action out there on something else? I personally, when they require that, put out a 6-8 or put out the 6, wait for the come out, and then put out the 8.
So the
if it's
6
a $10
working.
Table, I'll put out a $12 working 6. You have action.
That's a great question. I can't wait till tomorrow to ask the pit manager if a working $18 6 is as good as a pass line on a come out roll to make a fire bet. I can't wait to find out.
90% of the time they will allow it. Yeah, it does not always have to be a pass line. I'm trying to think of the last time we were at San and I think they allowed the working place bet to cover it. I'm pretty sure they did. Yeah.
Interesting.
But yeah, that's a good way around that one. Just take one of the most common numbers, and he hits it on the come out. You're now ahead.
Right.
And if not, you're not. The only thing that kills you obviously is the 7. But if he throws a 3, who cares? Yeah, he didn't lose anything on the come out.
Right.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
I don't like
Tomorrow.
hedges. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just trying to get into the. For me, I want to start the hand with place bets currently, And so I was just trying to, and it makes them nuts because I'll set it all up that way. And then 7 happens on the come out roll. And they're like, did you want this C&E back? And I'm like, no, I'm not even making the pass line bet. The rule is I got to make the pass line bet when I make the fire bet. I made the fire bet. I made the pass line bet. I won the pass line bet. I'm good.
Yeah. Yep.
But they also concede that clearly I'm not the person they made the rule for. Right? They didn't make that rule for the guy that's going to see the point get established and go 110 inside. But
yeah,
they are trying to treat everybody the same, which is a good thing.
Yeah, it stinks when some people ruin it for everybody else. But yeah, I mean during COVID at Horseshoe Hammond, they were kind of making an extreme version of that if you didn't bet, like you literally had to have a bet on every single person going around the table, and it was a quarter minimum. So when they had the couple of tables open, it was a quarter minimum. And you had to bet. And so this one guy and they got in a big tiff over pulling him off the table. So it was that's a kind of a version of that, I think, grew. I personally think that grew out of it. It was kind of all of that at once coming in and saying, no, all right, here's the rule. You got to have some action on the come out. Yeah. So.
Okay. Did you have another blackjack question for this session, or?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
Let's do one more. I've got one
craps, more. All right. In craps, you have to know your payouts. And so when the dealer pays me, I know what I should get. And I've had some instances where other things, not only the payout, but other bets. So in blackjack, are there dealer mistakes? Now, going back to our first session, you said, there's 168, bets on a craps table, but only one in blackjack. But I would assume there's a couple of different ways that a dealer could make a mistake. So what would be more of the common mistakes, if there are any?
I guess I think of a couple categories or a couple things to answer there. Probably the most common mistake is in a house that has both 6-5 and 3-2 tables, particularly in the same pit, and a dealer that's on a string that includes both can sometimes get confused and mispay a blackjack because the tables are virtually the same. 20. I just did 20 minutes on 6-5, and now I'm the breaker, and I'm doing 20 minutes on 3-2, and I got to remember where I am and what I'm supposed to pay. You sometimes see
that'd be my mistake too. I have to know what table I'm on too, right?
Well,
I guess it could be my mistake.
Yeah, well, we've all made that mistake where we didn't pay attention, played half a shoe, third of a shoe. We get a blackjack, and we're expecting to get paid $22.50 on our $15 bet, and we don't get that, and we're like, "Hey, wait!" And they go, "No, sir, it's 6-5. It's not 6-5. You're not getting what you thought you were going to get." So side bet mistakes, 6-5 versus 3-2 mistakes. I don't really see mistakes made on odds or the payout per se. Payout mistakes are more often the result of some other mistake than miscalculating what's correct. For instance, pretty common for a dealer to different places handle blackjacks different ways. Some pay them immediately, and some pay them as the player plays their hand. So in one case, the cards come out, You have a blackjack, the dealer checks, the dealer doesn't have a blackjack, the dealer pays you and scoops your cards. Okay? Now, I always set up my next bet. The hand is still being played by the other players at the table, but my cards have been scooped and I've moved my wager up or down. And now the hand is played, the dealer busts, and they pay every circle at the table, including mine, where there are no cards, where I've set up the wager. And they're on autopilot, and they're paying every spot because they busted, and when they bust, they pay every spot. Boom, ba boom, ba boom, ba boom, ba boom. The next way that you get mispaid is you'll get paid on a 5 or 6 card hand that is a push. Because dealers don't remember what you have. As soon as they move to the next hand to play it out, they've completely forgotten what they dealt you. And now they deal their hand and they've got 18 and you know you've got 18 and they don't, and it's 6 cards and they recount it wrong, or they don't recount it. They look at it and just their brain says pay it, and they do. And they're paying you when they should push. That's really common. Not very common, but once in a while, you get the late night, early morning dealer at the end of a shift, and they pay by size, not by color. Most famously, I was on an overnight trip. Things weren't going well. Then they started turning around. I ended up playing way into the early AM on the end of a shift, and I had been going between black chips and green chips, and I had 8 green chips in the circle, and she sized 8 black chips and looked at me and waited for me. I waited for her to fix the mistake, and she looked at me and waited for me to pull them back, and I bet a quarter and went, anybody coming? Anybody coming? Anybody coming? Anybody coming? And we played the hand, and I made another bet and played the hand, and decided I was just going to walk out and be done because it had been a bad day to start. And we call that within the podcast, we call that the hero crook dilemma. Jimmy Buffett song, one of my favorites. I read dozens of books about heroes and crooks, and I learned much from both of their styles. I would say that applies to me. And I learned as much from the good guy as the bad guy in some John Wayne movies. And those hero crook moments materialize in casinos a lot.
Oh yeah.
And while I would never try to create an opportunity, I tend to live by a credo that says if a decision of mine about a mistake isn't going to hurt another player, I am simply going to let the house do their job. It is their job to run the game. It is their job to secure the game. It is their job to correct the game if I observe a mistake. It is not my job. It is theirs. If they mispay me, and then the phone rings and, hey, Todd, we're sorry. We paid you wrong. Oh, I'm sorry. Here you go. No questions asked, no argument, no disagreement. But I feel no obligation. And trust me, I got a listener, Mitch, who we have had lengthy email conversations about how morally wrong my approach is. He feels very strongly. We've talked about it a bunch. I think we respect each other's opinions to a degree, but he thinks I'm completely wrong. He thinks that there is casino karma, and I have an obligation to point out every mistake and correct every misunderstanding in my favor or in the house's favor. I tend not to see it that way. So mistakes in blackjack are seldom the dealer can't calculate or has miscalculated the payout. Other than 3 to 2, 6 to 5, there just aren't those. The payout is always a win or a loss, and it's the amount in the circle. Right. They never get the colors. They never give you 3 red instead of 2 red. Oh, the other one, getting paid lammers instead of chips. Not really a craps problem, right? Because the lammers aren't in the stacks. In a blackjack rack, right, they'll stack 100 red, and then a lammer, and then 100 red, and then a lammer, and then 100 red, and then a lammer. And every once in a while, they go to pay you out, and in the middle of the stack, there's a lammer. Those have no cash value at the cage. I know because I tried.
Unless your lammer is the same size. You know, we hand out lammers, right?
Yes.
And our lammers are indeed smaller than chips.
Yes.
But all these guys, I'm getting one made. I have my own custom chips on my own table with my dogs on them and stuff. But, all these guys I'm meeting are getting their own chips made, and so this one's from, what was this? What, Texas? Who the heck is this? Well, this is someone and from Kansas City. So I know of one who had a black chip made for themselves and gave it to one of their friends at a table somewhere in this country, maybe. And it was totally accidental, handed it in at one of the cages, and they never went back to that cage that entire trip because he got $100 for it.
Well, and that's...
But he realized it later when he went to look in his pocket and the chip was gone. He goes, oh, crap.
Yep. Well, and it's interesting because my personal chips are black that I hand out that have the logo on the front, and on the back they have a QR code that goes to my link tree. So you can scan the code and go to my website, my email, my Instagram, my anything, right? And I can change that. And my first thought was, well, I'm not going to use red or green because those are common. Almost everybody's seen red and green chips. I'm going to do black because most people... Here's the problem. Next time I'm doing yellow or orange or gray, because over and over, I have people that I'm playing with that do well or do poorly. And I want to tell them about the podcast. And when I hand a black chip, they think I'm giving them a black chip out of sympathy. And then they're crestfallen to find out I'm not doing charity. I'm trying to teach something. So I've got to do orange or yellow or brown or gray or turquoise. Yeah. They're big enough denominations that most people never see them. Right. So that will be the next batch of custom chips that I do. I will not be doing black chips. I'll be doing something else. But those are well received. Once a week somebody goes, your business card is a black chip. Oh, that's so cool.
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right. So
I've got a logo for the one side with my Hard 9 logo on it, and then the QR on the back. So that'll be good.
All right, so this kind of ties in a little bit, I think. We've talked about the idea that I don't play 6 to 5 tables. I'd prefer not to play continuous shuffle tables. Are there craps tables or craps rule sets that are similar, that you just won't play? And obviously, why?
With new, gentler scented Clorox disinfecting wipes, clean finally smells as good as it feels on everything from lamps to ceiling fans, even on your kid's toy shark. Oh, ouch. Clorox disinfecting wipes, now available in crisp lemon. Find it on Amazon. Clorox. Clean feels good.
Mint is still $15 a month for premium wireless. And if you haven't made the switch yet, here are 15 reasons why you should. 1, it's $15 a month. 2, seriously, it's $15 a month. 3, no big contracts. 4, I use it. 5, my mom uses it. Are you playing me off? That's what's happening, right? Okay, give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan. $15 per month equivalent required. New customer offer first 3 months only. Then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.
I mean, in general, no, because the ones that would keep people from playing, excuse me, would be. I take 2 for that. Okay, so in general, no, because most people who have a problem with that have a problem with playing on Royal Caribbean, where it's 1 times odds, 2 times odds with a quarter, 3, 4, 5 with $50. They say, "Oh, I hate the odds on that. I'm gonna go somewhere else." I'm like, first of all, and we might have even talked about this last time. I proved to myself that come betting isn't for me. So it drives me insane to see everybody on a Royal Caribbean ship putting a $10 line bet out and putting the single odds behind and thinking that's a great bet. I mean, on a 10, oh, let's make it a 5 on a $10 table, and they do that on a 5, they $20 out there and they're going to be paid 25. If they'd have just and put that $20 as a price bet on a 5, they'd be getting $28. So why are you playing a single odd table? The break even across in general, a 4, 5, 6, it's a 3, 4, 5 game. Those payouts on a 3, 4, 5 game were made to make it easier for the dealers. A common $30 bet, the odds and all that, it would pay 70 and the place bet pays 70. So if you have a $60 6 and it was a $60  6 up on a place pays 70, or a $10 flat bet with $50 odds also pays 70 all day. So, they were made for that. So if you're playing less than those odds, that the come bet is a ridiculous bet anyway. The only time I'm going to play a quote unquote come is when I do a bet. And so we'll go back to terms. I'll do a put bet in Kansas City because I'm getting 100 times odds, or the few other houses that give me 100 times odds. I still get it at Cromwell, the Horseshoe Hammond, Rivers in Chicago, Horseshoe here in Blackhawk, Colorado, plays 100 times odds. I can do a put bet, which is skip the come cycle, because when you put $10 out on the come, it goes to the next number. Say, I'm pounding the 9. All of my other numbers are 100, 150, but my 9 is at $1,000. It means at 500 even. I will convert my place bet to a put bet, and I will give them the flat. And in Kansas City, when we're doing that, it's a quarter. And then I put my odds on top of that, and I'll convert that at around 350, 400, or 500, depending on how the game is going. If you have a come out 7, obviously it wipes out your base bet on a put bet. So you have to make up for that. So a lot of people won't play that single odds game. Just play it and play plus. Other than that, there's really not a lot of reasons not to play. Some people will not play. You were pointing to the bonus bets before. Some people refuse to play the ATS table, because the all tall small, the uptown downtown make them all, whatever the variations are on that. A lot of people won't play them because it's the  the                                                                                                                   'Rhythm of the game. them all down, depending on what their SOP or standard operating procedure dictate. Some of them can tap the chips and get back into the game faster. Some of them, their SOPs say you have to rake it all away and set up the new bets. So it really does ruin the rhythm of the game if you're a person who, puts a lot of trust into that rhythm of the game. You might want to walk away from that. But there's variants. There's four different major bets. There's, like you said, the fire, which doesn't get wiped out, the ATS, the repeater bets, and then the hot shooter bet, things like that would get wiped out with the come out 7. But other than that, there's no reason. There's one interesting game I'll bring up that I probably won't play again. It was fun to play, but in Denmark, I was getting ready to get on a transatlantic cruise, and they at Casino Copenhagen had a game called Rocket Sevens, and it's this little 7-foot table, just the base, or in the box person's position. There is the stick person, and you can stand all the way around the rest of the table. And so I was at the end of the table, and I put all of my bets out there working. I put 20 Danish krona out on the 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10. Hit my come out. I'm like, awesome. I threw a 6. I'm like, cool, pay me. And all my other bets come down. The entire table is a prop bet. It's one bet, one toss bets, the whole table.
Oh.
And so I won on my 6 a decent amount of money. I was able to put my other bets back out and rack 10 krona. And so I throw it again and throw a 5. I'm like, cool. I get paid on my 5. My other bets come down, and I rail 20 or 30 krona. And I put all the other bets back out. And then I throw an 8. And I'm like, cool, pay me. And they pay all my 8s, and they pay my 8 and they take the dice away. I'm like, what the hell? They said, you set up a low side bet and hit it again. But once you throw to the high side of the table, you lose the dice. I'm like, what?
What?
The 7 doesn't do anything. It's hitting the wrong side of the table. So that's a game I wouldn't play again, but it was fun playing once.
Okay, so now
people don't like American craps.
So I'm not trying to play gotcha, but I have some I want to ask you about the notes that I made. So I've never played it, but would you play craps in Cali where cards randomly assign?
Damn you! Yes, you got me. No, I would never play that game.
Okay.
Only because, you rat bastard. Yeah. So all right. So here's the caveat to that. I'm a dice influencer.
Right.
And I'm going to play the game because I'm a dice influencer. And if I can influence the dice, like I did on that game in Copenhagen, it's a random game. It absolutely randomizes the game. So I would not play it. If any of your listeners are a random shooter and they don't believe in DI, which 90% of the people don't, then what does it matter to you? So if you're a random shooter, play it.
Okay. Right. So bubble craps. You play bubble craps?
Yeah, I haven't been able to find anything. Michael does a thing, and a couple other guys I know do this system where they try and trick the machine. And I mean, it is an RNG machine, but every time I try one of those quote unquote derriere handed to me. But these guys are going up. They hit 2 hits, pull it all out, and go to another machine. They think that's around it, and it works for them until it doesn't. So, yeah.
Okay.
No, I won't. I generally won't play bubble craps.
Okay. So the last variation.
Because you get horrible. You get no rating on them.
Right. Well, that's why I don't play them. Roll to win tables, the LCD shorty
Oh
tables.
God, yes. Absolutely. So you've got the variants of that thing now. So you got the roll to win, which is the glass top with the video underneath, no chips, the betting terminals that go around. What are they? 10 stations around, I think.
Yeah,
I
I
think
think
there's 10
so.
stations. Um, Dice influencers have just absolutely given them a beat. They are doing everything in their power to ruin dice influencers. They put um, new bumpers in, and then I think at Flamingo. Last time I was able to play that at Flamingo in Vegas, they put an extra layer of plexiglass, so there was literally a wall you hit. If you just shorted the dice a little bit, you would hit that edge of plexiglass and it would kick back the other way. And of course, it'd be a no roll in that. And then they put another bumper beyond that. So if you're dice influencing, you have to get your dice to land, hop over that little thing, hit the wall, and then just die. And I was beating the machine. They started giving me a bunch of crap, and so I just basically lowered my bets, threw a few more, sevened out, and left. But yeah, I love those tables. The new ones are the stadium craps. That's the felt 8-foot table, and the betting stations. Sometimes they have more than craps. Sometimes they have the blackjack in the middle and the baccarat and different things. And
Right.
you can play all of those at the betting terminal. And then when it's your time to shoot at craps, it says, "Do you want to shoot?" You say yes, and they transfer your machine up to the table, and you have to throw from the end of the table. You have no other position to throw from. Those tables are really nice because A, there's no chips. They're like 8 feet long. They're felt. The only thing is on them, they all vary. Some of them have hollow spots in them, and you just have to find your spot to. But I absolutely would love those tables. Love shooting on them. Yeah.
Interesting. Interesting.
Did I miss one? What other type do you have?
No, you didn't. And I actually had stadium down here in my notes. So you walked us right where I was going.
I don't get caught.
All right. Well, thank you for joining me. Thank you for another, I think, successful yin and yang segment. I really appreciate you doing it. I know from listener feedback that everyone really enjoyed the first one and is looking forward to the second one. So thank you very much. We all really appreciate it.
Oh, again, a lot of fun. Look forward to the next one.
A little bit of the bubbly.
Welcome to the most must-listen to segment in casino lifestyle podcasting, the Virtual VIP Lounge. Our lounge is open, and we have the best virtual everything virtually all the time. The best virtual food and drink anywhere on the interwebs, guaranteed, or your money back. As always, if you can, press pause. Pour yourself a beverage. I guarantee you that Don and I were both enjoying some bourbon as we had of our conversation. I'd love to have you have a drink with us. My favorite thing about VIP lounges in the real world is sitting around swapping stories with friends. And for this episode of the Virtual VIP Lounge, we have a great story. We have a story that is exclusive, has never been told on any podcast anywhere in the world at any time. We have the $6 Blackjack Story from our very good friend, Don Wood. We teased this last time. We need to hear the $6 Blackjack Story.
Oh gosh. All right. So we were on this transatlantic cruise. Also coming out of, it was the same one I was coming out of Denmark. So, Copenhagen, and went a few places.
No, you're breaking up on me.
And then on the at noon on those. All right, let's try it again.
Yeah, let's try it again. You're breaking up.
All right, at noon on C days, they would have a $6 game, And I would go in. And so the one thing was the guy yelling at us, yelling at me for playing the wrong thing, even though it was on the card. But the greatest thing was I was dealt apparently, two twos, right? So I would split, correct?
Against what?
I would.
What was the dealer's card?
Dealer had a 4.
Yep, that's a split.
Okay, so I split, got a 2.
Split again.
Split, got a 2.
Right?
And I don't know if that was the limit. Is there a limit on splits?
It's usually either 3 or 4 hands, yes. So probably 4 hands on Royal.
So I had 4 hands. First hand went to a 2-8-6. Second hand, a 2-Ace-5. Third hand, a 2-7-Queen. Last hand, a 2-7-5. And so it looks here, you look at my picture and it looks like I doubled every hand.
Yeah, you played the unicorn hand.
It was the unicorn for $6.
I played 30 years. I've never gotten to play that hand.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah. Every single one. Doubled every single one. And the dealer, let's see what the dealer had. D got a 4, 5, 6. So they're up to 15, right?
15, yep.
The last card's an 8. They busted.
You played and won the unicorn hand. Okay, that's pretty amazing.
That was fun.
Of course that was.
With deuces.
And literally you could play your whole life and never get to play that hand.
That was fun.
Yes. Wow.
So,
and I guess you could walk away from blackjack then, having done the almost impossible thing to do and won it. I guess that walking away would have been an option at that point.
Yeah, that was good. Never again, right?
Well, it hasn't happened to me yet. I'd like to make that bet and win it, but
it would have been almost 8 years ago, September of 2017. Yeah,
got it. So there you go, everybody. The $6 blackjack story turns out to be Don playing the unicorn hand that I have spent my entire life looking for an opportunity to play, never seeing, never having the opportunity to play it, never seeing anybody else play it. And one of the few times he's ever played blackjack, he plays the unicorn hand and calls it the $6 blackjack story. Amazing. I'll keep looking for the chance to play that hand. Wonderful of Don to take us on that journey. Thanks for being here, everybody.
Please tip your waitresses, tip your bartenders, tip your dealers. If you have a host, tip your host, but don't tip away your wins. TRG has spoken. Everything you heard here is true from a certain point of view. In 10 years, we may find out he was wrong about all of this. It's time for leaving, and I hope you understand. TRG was born a ramblin' man. Love it, hate it, it don't matter. Please share with your family and friends. Goodbye, everyone. Thank you for listening. The best part of the podcast is next. The Casino Combat Blues. Thank you again to Fish Audio for providing my glorious voice. Special thank you to my original actress, author, Julia Tverdovskaya.
For Atlantic City Empress, Casino Combat's ace. There are profits in the casino tonight, I can feel it in my bones. I had a premonition, you should probably play alone. I know the house has an advantage, but that's part of the thrill. If we follow the core concepts, the chips begin to spill. So baby, here's your player's card, put your bankroll in your hand. Use just some of that money now. The dealers and the pit bosses, the security and the law, the winning and the losing and the tricks nobody saw. No matter if it's blackjack, roulette or craps, you gotta carry defense cause you always carry cash. There's lots of shady characters, lots of dirty deals. Everybody has an alias cause that's more fun we feel. It's the lure of winning money, it's got a very strong appeal.